Picture a stage bathed in soft light, a lone figure poised on point. Her body, a testament to years of rigorous training, tells a story of dedication and dreams. But beneath the graceful exterior lies a tale of resilience that would make even the sturdy trees of Brooklyn proud. This is Natasha, and her journey from the brink of despair to the pinnacle of ballet is one that will make your heart soar higher than her grand jetés. Before we pirouette into Natasha's world, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Hit that button below, and you'll never miss another story of triumph over adversity. Now, let's raise the curtain on a tale that proves that with enough grit and grace, even the most devastating setbacks can lead to standing ovations. In the heart of St. Petersburg, where the Neva River whispers tales of ancient tsars and revolutions, a different kind of revolution was brewing in the soul of young Natasha Ivanova. At just 7 years old, with eyes as wide and bright as the dome of St. Isaac's Cathedral, Natasha first stepped into the hallowed halls of the Vaganova Ballet Academy. It was a crisp autumn day, leaves crunching under her tiny feet like nature's very own applause, urging her towards a destiny she could scarcely imagine. From the moment her small hand gripped the barre, it was clear that Natasha was born for this. Her instructors, stern-faced women and men who had seen countless hopefuls come and go, couldn't help but soften at the sight of her unwavering determination. "She dances like a snowflake in a storm," one whispered, "delicate yet unbreakable." As the years passed, Natasha's talent blossomed like the lilacs in the summer garden. Her days were a blur of plies, pirouettes, and perfecting her porte de bras. While other girls her age were discovering the joys of first crushes and pop music, Natasha was falling in love with the stage. The smell of rosin, the creak of well-worn wooden floors, and the rustle of tutus became the soundtrack of her life. But life, like the most challenging of variations, has a way of testing even the most dedicated of artists. On the eve of her 16th birthday, as Natasha prepared for her most important performance yet, a showcase that could secure her place in the company, disaster struck. A misstep during rehearsal, a sickening pop, and suddenly the world that had always been beneath her feet seemed to crumble away. The diagnosis was devastating, a torn anterior cruciate ligament. The doctor's words fell like leaden weights: "You may never dance again." For Natasha, it was as if the sun had been snuffed out, leaving her in a world of gray. The next few weeks were a haze of pain, both physical and emotional. She hobbled through the corridors of the academy, a ghost of her former self, watching as her classmates continued to twirl and leap, their dreams still intact. But remember, dear listeners, this is not a tragedy. This is a tale of triumph, of a spirit as indomitable as the Russian winter. For in those dark moments when lesser souls might have given up, Natasha found a well of strength she never knew she possessed. It came to her one night as she lay in bed, staring at the faded poster of Maya Plissetskaya on her wall. The great ballerina seemed to speak to her. A true dancer dances not just with her feet, but with her heart. With those words echoing in her mind, Natasha began her journey back. It started small, gentle stretches in her bed, visualizations of performances as she sat in physical therapy. She devoured books on ballet history, studied videos of legendary dancers, and even took up painting to keep her artistic spirit alive. Her body may have been temporarily broken, but her mind was sharper than ever. Months passed, and slowly, painfully, Natasha began to heal. Her first steps back into the studio were tentative, like a fawn finding its legs. But with each day, each exercise, each small victory, her confidence grew. Her fellow dancers, who had at first regarded her with pity, now watched in awe as Natasha pushed herself harder than any of them. There were setbacks, of course. Days when the pain flared and doubt crept in like a poisonous mist. But Natasha had learned to weather these storms. She found strength in unexpected places, in the encouragement of a young girl who recognized her at the market and asked for an autograph, in the unwavering support of her parents who sacrificed so much for her dream, and in the quiet determination she saw reflected in her own eyes each morning. As her 18th birthday approached, whispers began to circulate through the academy. The Bolshoi Theater in Moscow was holding auditions for their upcoming production of Swan Lake. It was a long shot. The competition would be fierce, and many still doubted whether Natasha could perform at such a level after her injury. But Natasha knew this was her moment. Like the little tree in a Brooklyn yard that refuses to be uprooted by the harshest of storms, she would bend, but not break. The day of the audition dawned bright and clear, as if even the notoriously fickle St. Petersburg weather was rooting for Natasha. As she stood in the wings waiting for her turn, she felt a calm settle over her. This was where she belonged. This was what she was meant to do. And as the first notes of Tchaikovsky's immortal score filled the air, Natasha stepped onto the stage and into her destiny. What happened next became the stuff of ballet legend. Natasha danced with a passion and precision that left the judges speechless. Her fouettes were crisp and clean, her adagio movements fluid as water. But it was in the moments between the steps, in the tilt of her chin and the arch of her back, that Natasha truly shone. She wasn't just performing the ballet, she was living it, breathing it, becoming one with the music and the movement. As the final notes faded away, there was a moment of stunned silence. Then, from somewhere in the back of the theater, a single pair of hands began to clap. Soon, the entire auditorium erupted in applause. Natasha, breathless and trembling, looked out at the sea of faces and saw something she had never dared to hope for: respect, admiration, and the knowledge that she had done the impossible. The next few weeks passed in a blur. There were more auditions, grueling rehearsals, and moments of doubt. But through it all, Natasha held on to the strength she had discovered during her recovery. And then, on a crisp autumn evening, much like the one when she had first entered the academy all those years ago, Natasha found herself standing in the wings of the Bolshoi Theater. The air was electric with anticipation. As the orchestra tuned up, Natasha closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She thought of all the people who had helped her on this journey: her parents, her teachers, her friends, and even those who had doubted her. She thought of the little girl she once was, wide-eyed and full of dreams. And she thought of the woman she had become, stronger and more resilient than she ever imagined possible. The curtain rose, and Natasha stepped into the spotlight. For the next 2 hours, she wasn't just Natasha Ivanova, the girl who had overcome injury and doubt. She was Odette and Odile, the white swan and the black swan, the embodiment of grace, strength, and artistry. With each perfectly executed movement, she rewrote her story, transforming from a victim of circumstance to the author of her own destiny. As the final curtain fell, the theater erupted in a standing ovation that seemed to shake the very foundations of the building. Roses rained down on the stage, and cheers echoed through the historic halls. Natasha, her chest heaving with exertion and emotion, looked out at the audience and saw not just applause, but vindication. She had done it. Against all odds, she had climbed to the pinnacle of her art. But this triumph, dear listeners, was more than just a personal victory. Natasha's journey became a beacon of hope for dancers and dreamers everywhere. Her story spread through the ballet world and beyond, inspiring countless others to persevere in the face of adversity. Young girls with crutches and arm casts began to show up at ballet schools, determined to follow in Natasha's footsteps. Veteran dancers facing the twilight of their careers found the courage to attempt one last comeback. In the years that followed, Natasha's star continued to rise. She danced on stages across the world, from the Paris Opera to New York's Lincoln Center. Critics hailed her as a once-in-a-generation talent, comparing her to legends like Pavlova and Fontaine. But for Natasha, the greatest reward was not the acclaim or the accolades. It was the knowledge that every time she took the stage, she was living proof that with enough passion, perseverance, and heart, any obstacle could be overcome. And so, dear listeners, as we draw the curtain on Natasha's story, let us remember the lessons it teaches us. Life, like ballet, is not about perfection. It's about the beauty we create in the face of imperfection. It's about the strength we find when we're pushed to our limits, and the grace with which we rise after we fall. Natasha's journey from a broken dream to the world's greatest stages is a testament to the power of the human spirit. The next time you face a challenge that seems insurmountable, think of Natasha. Think of the hours she spent rebuilding her strength, the tears she shed in frustration, and the moment she finally spread her wings and soared. Remember that within you lies the same potential for greatness. the same capacity for resilience. Your stage may not be the Bolshoi Theater, but your triumph can be just as sweet. For in the end, we are all dancers in the great ballet of life. We stumble, we fall, but if we have the courage to keep moving, to keep reaching for that perfect arabesque, we too can create something beautiful. And who knows, perhaps one day, it will be your story that inspires the world, your journey that reminds us all of the incredible heights the human spirit can reach when it refuses to be grounded. If Natasha's story has touched your heart and lifted your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder of their own strength. And remember to subscribe for more tales of triumph that prove that with enough determination, even the most unlikely dreams can take flight. Until next time, keep dancing through life's challenges and never stop reaching for the